So hi guys, and welcome to my doll room library. I made in here a seasonal bookshelf, and I really want to share with you the seasonal bookshelf because I love it, and it might give you ideas for new ways of storing your books or new ways of organising a bookshelf. If you already do this and you're thinking, yeah, I've done this for years, then it's a nosy at somebody else's books. So either way, I just thought it would be fun to share. So this is my seasonal bookshelf behind me. I'm going to turn the camera around and I am going to show you how I've organised it, and then I'm going to go through the summer books, seeing as we are in summer. So first of all, let me just show you what I've got on the side of the bookcase. I've got a artwork that my teenage son painted for me for Christmas. Isn't that so beautiful? Unravel 2. This is, I play very few computer games, but this is a computer game that the two of us played together and loved. I have this gorgeous sort of 60s 70s painting of a little girl with a doll, which is really apt since some of my doll collection is in here, and also a colouring that I got from my daughter's school. They were selling Taylor Swift artwork, and I'm a Swiftie, so they're gifts from my kids. That middle print was a gift to me. So anyway, that aside, so it doesn't go all the way to the floor because we have that's the staircase there coming up. So it is a half bookcase. So the bottom shelf, I wonder if you can guess from the dolls what season this is. We've got somebody in a furry hat, we've got ice skaters, Barbie and Ken ice skating, we have got a Monster High abominable snowman doll, we have a Snow Queen doll. Yes, this bottom shelf is all winter books. So they are winter books that I've just found. I think I bought all of these books, well, not quite all of them, but most of them on a £10 shopping spree to my local charity shops. And I've got things like Snow by John Banville, Christmas by Candlelight. This one I DNF'd last year, so that needs to go back to the charity shop. The Crow Girl I read last December, very, very gripping, needs to go back. I've read that. You've got all sorts on here. I've got a fantastic, gorgeous copy of the Snow Queen. I've got some graphic fiction as well. All sorts of books waiting for winter to come. So I do need to do a little declutter of that because I've got books on there I don't want to keep. Then we come up to the middle two shelves. Now on the middle two shelves we have a cat familiar doll. We have a very, very old Cindy doll, which reminds me of Jane Eyre, Mad Women in Attics and all of that. And we have a doll, my Soul Collector doll, which is a doll that I have been redressing and fixing up, shall we say. Now these are dolls for autumn and for spooky season really, and I have anything that I think might fit with slightly spooky or sort of liminal space. There is a non-fiction here, Islands of Abandonment, so that's a non-fiction, but you can see it's kind of like spooky gothic reads. And because I love this type of fiction, I do actually have two autumn shelves. So on here, this was my latest find, guys. I found this for 30p. Jamaica Inn, which I've been dying to read. I've only ever read Rebecca from Daphne du Maurier. Jamaica Inn was my next one. I finally found it, so that is awesome. And then I've got books like The Essex Serpent, which I plan to read this year. If I show you how fantastic this doll looks next to this book, Look at that, doesn't she look fabulous next to that book? So I've got a doll here that reminds me of Frankenstein, and of course I've got my Draculauras with all my Dracula fiction down there, but they are all Gothic reads, like The Ghost Woods, A Study in Drowning, which I read last year. Susan Hill's The Woman in Black I read last year. I've got some Sarah Perry that I want to read, not only The Essex Serpent, but I've also got Melmoth there, and I've got Laura Purcell books that I want to read this year as well. What else have I got? I found some Sarah Waters in a charity shop as well. I've got Frances Hardinge, whose book me and my daughter read a few years ago, and we loved it. We read Fly By Night, very complex Fly By Night, but really fabulous. This I read last year, The Castle of Otranto, the very first Gothic novel ever by Horace Walpole. So you can see I've got some selection of sort of Gothic fiction on these two shelves, which are my autumn shelves. It's really exciting. Now, if we come all the way up to the top shelf, you can see I've got another vintage Cindy doll, and I've got a mermaid doll and slightly more summery dolls for my summer shelf, which I think has got the fewest books on, and I can't really, guys, remember what I've got on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them down, I'm going to take them to my desk, and we're going to go through them together, and I'm going to pick one. Let's just pick one to go on my TBR. So what I've got here now, I have done, look at this gorgeous jar. So this is a pumpkin jar, so it's quite seasonal. Wrong season, I know, but it's still seasonal. And I've put all of the summer books onto yellow tags, and in a minute we're going to pull one of those books out. I did say in one of my recent videos I feel too old to gamify my TBR, but I've completely dissed that idea. I'm not too old for anything, and I love TBR jars, so I'm going to do a TBR jar for my seasonal shelf. But what books have gone in there? I want to remind myself. Now, all of these books were either 30p a book or 3 for £1, so about 33p a book, or 50p a book. They've been on the shelf for a while, and I've not read any of them. So we've got a Penguin book as the first one, Nothing But Blue Sky by Catherine McMahon. A beautiful novel, elegant, understated, subtly powerful. Is there such a thing as a perfect marriage? David thought so, but when his wife Mary Rose dies suddenly, he has to think again. In reliving their 20 years together, David sees that the ground beneath them had shifted, and he simply hadn't noticed or chosen not to. Sounds really interesting. So there's that one. Kind of fits in as well with my Victorian reading. I'm really liking exploring marriages in Victorian literature. It might be nice to contrast that Victorian classic reading with something like that. This one is A Blast from the Past. It's another classic. This time it's a vintage editions, Cider with Rosie by Laurie Lee. Now, the last time I read this, it was for my O-levels, and I'm dating myself by saying O-levels instead of GCSEs. My year group, I think I took my O-levels in 1985. Yes, 1985. It was the last year of O-levels before it became GCSEs. And this is the text that we studied, and I loved it, and I can remember doing multiple essays on this book, and I'd love to reread it, so I was really excited to find that one. Now, this one I brought purely because I thought that would be great on my summer shelf. So having a seasonal bookshelf has made me buy books that I might not possibly have ever picked up. So this is by R.F. Delderfield. I've never heard of them before, and it's the first volume in the magnificent A Horseman Riding By trilogy. So as if I need any more unfinished series, this book, it is the first one. As Paul Craddock recovers from his Boer War injuries, he starts to plan a new life. He invests all he has in a remote but beautiful estate in Devon, determined to be at the heart of what is most real and most important. Love that concept of recovery in nature and like starting again. Lovely themes in that book that will interest me. And then beekeeping. I've got a couple of books with bees in the title. Where is the other one? The other one is The Secret Life of Bees. Looking after bees and beehives makes me think of summer. So The Beekeeper of Aleppo by Christy Leftery. I think this is this it's based in the war. In the midst of war he found love, in the midst of darkness he found courage, in the midst of tragedy he found hope. What will you find from his story? So you can see we've immediately moved away from that idea of summer beekeeping. I wonder how the bees play into this. Powerful book that sounds. And then The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk. This has been on my bookcase forever. Lily has grown up believing she accidentally killed her mother when she was just 4 years old. Now at 14, she yearns for forgiveness and her mother's love. Again, sounds really powerful. This one, I just put this on the shelf because I don't know, it just felt like summer to me. Out of Hitler Time, 3 Stories, One Life by Judith Kerr. Now, Judith Kerr is the author that wrote A Tiger Came to Tea. I had no idea that she was linked with war stories. And this was, oh my gosh, this was, I can't remember who was talking about this, but I just really, really wanted to read it. So it's a trilogy which includes When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit, Bombs on Aunt Dainty, and A Small Person Far Away. So the theme and the war and Hitler, I know that's not summer themed. It was just something about the book though, and I don't know whether it's the colours of the cover that just made me think summer. I think the title Pink with a pink rabbit in made me think summer as well. Okay, this one is completely and utterly out of my comfort zone. Would never have bought this if it hadn't have been for the fact it was like 30 pence. Is an Alina Armas book, The American Roommate Experiment. So this is one of those modern romances I see everywhere when I go into bookshops. Romance isn't my genre at all, but let's step out of the genres we're used to. Occasionally I think it's lovely to do that. I've got a Kate Morton, The Forgotten Garden. Anything with a garden in makes me think of summer. Before her eyes the garden changed. Weeds and brambles, decades in the growing, receded. Leaves lifted from the ground, revealing paths and flower beds and a garden seat. Light was permitted entry once more. That sounds fab. Looks like you've got it set over different time periods. What's not to love about a story about a garden? Now this one I picked up again for 30 pence. This I haven't put the prompt for this in the prompt jar because this is planned to read for my hot prompt in July, so next month, and it is also translated fiction. I think this is translated from French and it's translated by Sam Taylor. Oscar is dead because I watched him die and did nothing. So this covers Ben's prompt next month for translated fiction and also my prompt of hot. So that's going to be out anyway in July. And another book that I haven't put a prompt in is Joanne Harris, Coastliners. So it's a coast book set on the coast. It is a book that I've got planned to buddy read with my friend Laurika, who's got a channel here on BookTube, which I'll link. We've got this planned to read at the end of summer for August. So those two I've got plans for reading. Okay, the last, we've got 5 books left. So I found this book for 50 pence. This is The Poisonwood Bible by Barbara Kinsolver. I haven't read any of her work before, but I thought it looked like a fabulous summer cover. So it is a suspenseful epic of one family's tragic undoing. So I had no idea, but it looks great, and I think it's also in the 1001 books to read before you die list, which I was surprised to see. I picked up this. It looks like really light fiction that might be nice to read in the background of some of my classics. Debbie Johnson's Sunshine at the Comfort Food Cafe, as cosy as a buttered crumpet. So coastal, sunshine, seasides, bikes, flowers and comfort food. Again, what's not to love? Right, this one is my guilty pleasure. I love Lucy Dillon books. When I was in the beginnings of a very horrific 5-year toxic divorce, Lucy Dillon was a real comfort read for me, and I've read a few of her books. I've never read One Small Act of Kindness. I loved 100 Pieces of Me. I loved it. These are often romance books. Lucy Dillon often puts dogs as well in her stories. I have no idea if that's going to follow suit, but whenever I see Lucy Dillon, I will pick it up. Right, the last two now. I bought this literally for the cover. It's Celia Fremlin's Uncle Paul, Welcome to the Nightmare Summer Holiday. I bought it because it reminded me of the Welsh seaside town of Aberystwyth, where my caravan is. And the last one is one that I picked up recently, Hotel de Lac by Anita Bruckner. It's got a hotel in. It looks very summer holiday-ish. Again, no idea what that's about. There's a little hardback copy. So that's great. So those are the books off my summer shelf. Really exciting. Like I say, these two, I've already got plans to read these with a reading challenge with Ben's and my prompts, and then in a buddy read. But let's pick one more, because we've got 3 months of summer. It would be nice to at least get one book a month read for my summer reading. This is really exciting. This is the first time I've ever used a prompt jar, so we're just going to pick one book out. I wonder which one it is going to be. Right, this one. What are we reading? What is the one extra book? So we've got Christy Lefteri, The Beekeeper of Aleppo. Oh my gosh. So we've got this one. This one needs to come off the summer shelf and go onto my TBR pile. Courageous, Provocative and Haunting. So, oh, it's by the best-selling author of The Tattooist of Auschwitz, which I've also heard of. So I'll be really interested to read this. What are you reading? Have you got a summer shelf, and what have you picked off there to read in the summer? Let me know, or any good summer book recommendations to be put on the shelf. Do you have a favourite summer book? I'd love to know what your favourites are, so let me know, because I'm always looking for recommendations or titles to look out for when I go charity shopping. So I've no idea where I'm going to fit this in, but it's out on the TBR. So thanks guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.